Welcome to the channel once again. Today's topic will be exclusively all about one of my favorite people ever, Corey Graves. For those of you who don't know, Corey Graves used to be a professional wrestler. He unfortunately had some bad concussions back in 2013, 2014. This isn't a script behind me. This is going to be something I did in bullet point form to explain stuff about commentating in general. So he has been at the helm of being a commentator on the main roster for nearly a decade, 9 years. And now he's been demoted. There is no other way of looking at it. He's been demoted to NXT. So now let's read what he said a couple of hours ago. I guess last night. Imagine chasing your dream, he says, then being told, not deciding, that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty fucking awesome at it, which I will admit he is correct there. You may have a differing opinion, and that's okay. And then when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, being told you're not famous enough for your own job, just in case you've been wondering where I've been. Now that whole famous line might be a jab at Pat McAfee. You have to understand that oftentimes, all the time, these people in the world of professional wrestling, they're real people. Sometimes they kayfabe, sometimes they don't. Karrion Kross is an example, but you can very distinctively tell when he's in kayfabe mode and when he's just in himself mode. If you look at the demotion, if you look at Rich Holland going down to NXT, that is a demotion. When Baron Corbin went back down to NXT, it's a demotion. It's not necessarily an insult. I guess not even an insult, but I suppose if you get fired or let go completely, that can be looked at as definitely an insult because they just don't, no offense, see value enough in you to keep you. Simply put, there's no sugarcoating it. Again, it doesn't mean that you suck. It just means they. That's just a small group of people. The rest of the world could still think you're amazing. Now then, it is said by one person, but bro, you don't have a character, that's why. Learn kayfabe on commentary, then you'll be interesting to listen to. And then I said, and I quote, do I need to quote my own self? I said, learn that commentary today isn't like it was before. Commentators like Corey Graves occasionally show heel tendencies, a strike of balance by blending wit and critique without fully committing to the traditional heel archetype. This often gets confused with said commentator lacking kayfabe. Assuming I'm understanding what they were trying to convey. So I've made this critique a lot, and I understand why they do it. I want to explain to you a little bit about the whole, like, why is it that Wade Barrett, that Corey Graves never really commit to the real heel-like of the likes of Bobby the Brain Heenan or the recent Saturday Night Main Event with bringing back Jesse the Body Ventura. It's not that they're unable to do it, but I want to talk about it. So I came up with this. It took quite a while to make it look all nice and neat here. The absence of a true heel commentator in WWE today is influenced by several factors related to the evolution of the wrestling business, audience preferences, and WWE's branding strategy, perhaps, because I could be completely wrong. Shift toward a more corporate image, WWE has transitioned into a global publicly traded company that caters to a wide range of demographics, including families and corporate sponsors. This broader audience often favors neutral or less polarizing commentary. Heel commentators, traditionally known for being brash or controversial, may not align with WWE's effort to maintain a polished, inclusive image. Focus on storytelling over actual character. Modern WWE commentary leans more heavily on promoting ongoing storylines, matches, and social media, rather than emphasizing individual commentator personas. Commentators are often instructed, remember that, to prioritize advancing the narrative and showcasing the talent rather than playing a specific heel or face role. Era of smart fans. Wrestling audiences are also more informed about the inner workings of the business, leading to a demand for more authentic commentary. Heel commentators can sometimes come across as disingenuous in this context, particularly when they defend obvious rule breaking or antagonize fan favorites in a way that doesn't feel genuine. Michael Cole's transformation was once a polarizing figure with heel tendencies during his feud with Jerry the King Lawler up until he had his heart attack there. He's transitioned into a more respected veteran voice now, and his shift away from being a heel set a precedent for less divisive commentary. Successful neutral or balanced styles, commentators like Corey Graves, who occasionally show those heel tendencies, strike a balance by blending wit and critique without fully committing to the traditional heel archetype. This modern approach may appeal to a broader audience. Legacy of past heel commentators, such as the classic commentators like Bobby the Brain Heenan and Jesse the Body Ventura, were effective because they matched the tone of their era. Replicating their style today might feel outdated or actually clash with WWE's current approach. But that is why when Jesse the Body Ventura comes back for Saturday Night Main Event and he does this thing, full-blown heel, he makes Corey Graves and Wade Barrett combined look like a Michael Cole and a Joe Tessitore. So that gave you a little bit of a background as to why that is the case. But yeah, now that he's with, is it Vic Joseph? Because don't forget, I don't watch NXT. That's not an insult against, I just don't have the time. I don't have time. Barely have enough time to breathe. But I feel for him, and I don't think that this was in, kayfabe. I think this is truly Corey Graves speaking on his displeasures, and it's sad to see because I truly feel like he should remain in the spotlight. I don't think he's done any gaffes to warrant a demotion. You may just not like his style, and that's fine. Remember Kevin Patrick? There's no sugarcoating that shit. That was atrocious to me. Again, I guess it is an insult, but it's nothing against him personally. I'm sure he's a fine guy, super nice. But no, it didn't do it for me. And clearly for Garen here, clearly Corey Graves doesn't tickle his fancy spot when it comes to commentary. So where should he have gone? With Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore on SmackDown? No. Had he done the three-man, it absolutely would have made sense, in my humble opinion, to have the man, the myth, the legend, Corey Graves, going to Raw on a three-man team. If it like, I prefer a two-man commentary team myself, but in this specific instance, you want him on Raw, because then you can have Pat McAfee still be Pat McAfee, but he's got very light undertones of heelish tendencies. Very, very light. But him and Michael Cole play off one another. I mean, almost everybody agrees with that really well. But again, going to be people that don't like Pat McAfee. Well, that goes for anybody. Just look at politics. My goodness. You got some people, oh my God, he's our Lord and Savior. And then other people are like, oh my God, he's, the devil reincarnated. So you can't please everybody. But putting him with Wade Barrett wouldn't make much sense, because then you got two sort of kind of heel, I just don't feel it would work as well unless they just changed their style. So if it meant Corey Graves going back down to NXT, I'm not sure he was ever there to begin with. Actually, I don't think he was. Wrestled there. He didn't commentate there. As far as I remember off the top of my head here. It would have just made more sense for me to be like, fine. For a three-man team, Pat McAfee, Michael Cole, and Corey Graves would work, because Corey Graves would be like your more naughty man speaking, and Pat McAfee and Michael Cole keeping it light, and it would have just, in my humble opinion, it would have been It would have been great. But unfortunately, I mean, in the end, and it's easy for me to say, in the end, I hope he's still being paid well, the same. Because Booker T's also on commentary, I think, with Vic, is it Vic Joseph? Vic something. And Booker T. So now they have a 3-man team, so. Again, I'm usually not a big fan of it. I think it kind of depends on who the team is to begin with. Like, you know, typical JR and Jerry the King Lawler. Yeah. Guest commentators, fine. But when they sometimes did the 3, I mean, I guess it almost could always work. But it really does depend on that synergy. Anyhow, I don't really have anything else to add other than I just wanted to talk about this. I wanted to share with you my displeasure for him being demoted, me looking at it as a demotion. But again, it's better than him being fired and just being completely let go, obviously. Some people are saying, well, why not just go to AEW? Not everything always has to be about AEW. You know that actually he was cleared to wrestle in 2022, but he chose to remain at the commentary booth because his passion for it, he's just grown to like it more. And I don't blame him. I always wanted to be sort of like a Jesse the Body Ventura, Bobby the Brain Heenan, heel commentator. That was always my dream from the very, very beginning. I never wanted to be, even when I was watching wrestling during the golden era, I never wanted to be the next Hulk Hogan or the Macho Man Randy Savage or something like that. I mean, maybe a little bit, but really I wanted to be the play-by-play guy or color commentator, to be honest, because there's a difference. Remember, I used to admit not long ago I didn't really know the difference. I thought that the play-by-play commentator was the color commentator. No. And Corey Graves is considered a color commentator. Where I think that the term comes from, you add literally color to the commentary. You're just adding to it, but you're not the one calling the shots play-by-play. I don't know that I would have liked that, which is what Michael Cole is. Maybe it's because I just don't think I'd be able to. Not saying I'd be a good color commentator either. But anyhow, this isn't about me. It's about Corey Graves, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see what transpires in the future if he ends up being called back up to the main roster. I would certainly like to see that. I am truly, truly baffled by this decision. And if you never liked Corey Graves, that's fine. But then explain to me this if you can. What do you think made WWE wait 9 years to do this? Thumbs up as always if you liked the video. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. Thumbs down if you didn't like it, and I'll bend it in half, twist it, snap it off inside your nose. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally, that'd be great. But if not, trust me, I totally get it. I'm not for everyone. I'm barely for myself. Take care, and perhaps I shall see some of you in the next video. Bye for now.